Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Ben. In this video, I want to present my preferred strategy to lose weight for adults. This is not going to apply to children. We are only focusing on adults in this video. The basic idea is to make any dietary and physical activity changes you would like to improve your health and enter a calorie deficit. Remember, a calorie deficit means you burn more calories than you consume, and this is necessary to lose fat long term. After you make changes, monitor your progress and adjust your calorie deficit accordingly. First, let's discuss how to monitor your progress, using 3 different methods. The first method uses a scale. Weigh yourself every day, first thing in the morning after using the bathroom, and write down your weight. I am showing this in Microsoft Excel, but you can use a phone app or some other method if you would like. After 7 days, add all the weights and divide by 7. You can see the formula for this on the screen, and I will explain this in the description below. The next day, get rid of the first day's weight and use your new daily weight in the average. You are now calculating a 7-day rolling average. The rolling average is necessary to minimize water weight fluctuations. Here, the blue line shows daily weights may go up or down from water weight, but the orange line shows the 7-day average weights smooth out these fluctuations. Since the scale will not tell you if you are losing body fat or lean body mass, the second method I recommend involves taking once weekly measurements of your waist circumference, and for women also your hip circumference, as this is where people tend to store the most fat. The exact spot you measure is not too important, but what is important is to measure consistently. Always pick the same location with the same posture, and pull the tape measure snug against your skin, but not tight enough to squeeze your body inward. Measure at least twice and average the measurements. To better determine if you are losing muscle, the third method I recommend involves tracking your strength while resistance training. Ideally, your strength will increase, but when you lose significant amounts of weight, your progress may stall. This is okay, but if you start losing strength, this means you may be losing muscle, which might make maintaining weight loss difficult long term. Thus, I recommend tracking your progress with your 7-day rolling average weight, weekly waist and possibly hip circumference measurements, and your strength levels with resistance training. Now let's discuss what to do with this information. After you have 3 weeks of measurements, subtract last week's 7-day average weight from your current 7-day average weight. You will use this number to determine if you need to make adjustments. I have discussed previously that I recommend losing up to 1% of your body weight weekly. Calculate 1% of your body weight by dividing your current body weight by 100. If you have lost more than 1% of your body weight over the last week, then decrease your calorie deficit to lose weight less quickly. If you have lost less than 1% of your body weight over the last week, then also consider your waist and possibly hip circumference measurements. If these measurements are clearly decreasing, you can stay the course for another week. But if these measurements are not decreasing, then increase your calorie deficit to lose weight more quickly. If at any point your strength levels decrease, either adjust your lifestyle and prioritize your workouts to maintain your current strength levels, or if this is not possible, decrease your calorie deficit to lose weight more slowly. Now let's discuss how to increase your calorie deficit. You can either increase your overall physical activity, or you can decrease your calorie intake. For general health purposes, I recommend walking at least 7,000 steps a day, performing strength training for each major muscle group at least twice a week, and performing a combination of at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity weekly. Increasing your physical activity to meet these guidelines will increase your calorie expenditure. However, while you can increase your physical activity further, going much beyond this point will provide diminishing returns, and it becomes more practical to focus on decreasing your calorie intake. To initially decrease your calorie intake, I recommend prioritizing minimally processed higher fiber and higher protein foods while only drinking 0-calorie drinks. Assuming you do not have food allergies, stick to the healthier food group options I'm listing on the screen, and make sure you meet the protein recommendations I have presented previously. Collectively, this will decrease your hunger levels to make it easier to stay in a calorie deficit and help you maintain your lean body mass while losing body fat. This alone can go a long way, but as you lose weight, your total daily energy expenditure will decrease, and you will need to make further adjustments to increase the size of your calorie deficit. You can do this by eating smaller portions of the foods you typically consume, or by cutting back on the more calorie-dense options. Here is a chart showing the calorie density of a variety of different foods, where the numbers show how many calories are in 100 grams of the food item. Try not to overindulge in the red and darker orange foods, though nuts seem to be an exception and a healthy snack item if needed. Adjusting your food portions and choices can work well if you eat the same foods every day. But if you incorporate a lot of variety, it can be difficult to know how you should adjust the portion sizes of the various things you eat. Nonetheless, you can give it a try and continue to monitor your progress. If at any point your progress stalls and you are not sure what to do, then it may be a good idea to start tracking calories. Before I discuss tracking calories in more detail, I do want to put in one disclaimer. Some people find tracking calories can contribute to disordered eating or eating disorder tendencies, and I do not promote tracking calories for people who are concerned this may occur. If you feel this may apply to you, please consult your healthcare provider or mental health professional for guidance. To track calories, you need to measure the portions of all foods and drinks you consume and record the calories. There are several phone apps that make this easier to do. You should purchase a kitchen scale and weigh out portions of everything, as weighing is more accurate than measuring by volume, such as with cups or tablespoons. Then, use the nutrition label to determine the calories of the portions you consume. I am putting examples of how to do this on the screen. Pause the video and look through these to make sure you understand how to determine the calories for a given number of grams, the grams needed for a desired number of calories, and, if curious, the calorie density of a food item. As I have discussed previously, tracking calories accurately is very difficult, and studies have found most people underestimate their calorie intake significantly. However, and this is a key point, you do not need perfect accuracy, you just need good precision. Precision describes how close a group of measurements are to each other. Thus, even if you routinely underestimate your calories by several hundred, as long as you underestimate similarly each time, you will be successful with this strategy. Putting this into practice, start trying to lose weight by making healthier eating choices, increasing your fiber and protein intake, performing more physical activity, and making other beneficial lifestyle changes such as optimizing your sleep. Track your weight, circumference measurements, and strength levels, and determine if you are losing weight at a desired rate. If you are not, make any changes that make sense to you, such as eating smaller portion sizes, and keep tracking your progress. If your progress stalls and you are not sure what to change next, then start tracking calories. Once you determine how many calories you are eating, you can decrease your calorie target by several hundred and aim for that many each day. Even if you are underestimating your calorie intake significantly, this is okay, because you will still be eating several hundred fewer per day than you were previously. Then keep tracking for another 2 to 3 weeks and make further adjustments if needed. The key to making this work is to measure and track calories carefully so that any errors you make are consistent over time. Remember to weigh out all foods when possible, and be careful to include everything you consume, such as treats at work, snacks from the kitchen, oil you use for cooking, condiments or salad dressing, and alcoholic beverages. If needed, look up nutrition labels online. When you first start, this may seem overwhelming, but you only need to put in a lot of effort and time to look up food options the first time you record them. Once you save these selections, you can quickly choose them again in the future, though you may need to adjust the portion size. The beauty of this weight loss strategy is that you do not need to follow any gimmicky diets. Just track your progress, adjust as needed every 3 weeks, and repeat. If you do track calories, after some time you will develop a better sense of how many calories are in different portions of foods, and you may realize you no longer have to track rigorously to be successful. If at any point your progress stalls, you can start tracking calories again as a troubleshooting method to get back on the right track. You now have a basic strategy to lose weight successfully. There may be some trial and error involved, but if you stick to the process and stay honest with yourself, you will have success with this method. Anyways, I hope you all found this video informative, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.